Hola and...
What? The H is silent. It's hola.
Hola! Hola! And welcome to our weekend release in Benidorm. This is our bonus podcast episode where we see how much Diva España content we can squeeze into your week, random things that have been sent in, extra bits from our week, and how our advice went down with you, our G&Divas. We've asked you for your holiday nightmare stories.
It's Oliday.
We've asked you for your holiday nightmare stories to help William feel better about this holiday in Benidorm. So, William, what do we have, please?
Well, first response is from Jess. She says, "Hi, William and Jordan. When I was 16, I went on a family holiday to Turkey. We went on a boat trip where you could jump off into the sea and swim with dolphins. And for an additional cost, a photographer would film and take photos for you.
Okay.
It was all going great with my parents and brother swimming up with the dolphins and getting some lovely photos. Then it was my turn. I jumped in and started swimming with the dolphins when one came up underneath me, lifting me up and shoving me forward. Unfortunately, my bikini top was loose and it went flying. I ended up flashing everyone on the boat, as well as my parents, brother and the photographer. I was absolutely mortified and had to spend the rest of the swim clutching my chest to cover up. After the dolphin swim, which was amazing, I got out to discover the photographer had taken multiple photos of the whole incident. And to make matters worse, on my 18th birthday, my parents made a photo book with the front cover being a wonderful photo of the dolphin and me up in the air, desperately trying to cover up whilst awkwardly looking at the camera.
I'm sorry, but that's a bit weird.
Such a thoughtful gift.
I'm sorry, but...
Kind regards, Jess.
That's a bit weird. My mum did that with our Dominic for his 21st.
What, he got his tits out?
No, she had a picture of him when he was like a toddler with his widget out. Yeah.
I don't know whether we've ever talked about this, but for my Mikey, how old was James when Mummy did that wrapping paper with his face on? My mother created wrapping paper.
I think we have talked about this.
Was it his 30?
Yeah.
No, he's not 30 yet. Yes, he is 30. Yes, he is 30. And it had his face as a baby tessellated all over this wrapping paper.
Tessellated?
Right, repeated. Can you not remember that wrapping paper? It was very odd. God bless her.
Right. We're going off piste here, but I know we give him some stick, but how cool does producer Ben look right now? He genuinely does. So he's wearing a linen top, and he's got one of those old-fashioned cameras, and he looks like he's in a 1960s film.
He looks like he's in The Night Manager.
Yeah, I am the first to give him stick, but mate, I'm going to take a picture. Mate, you look really cool at the moment.
But also, if you
look off into the you were doing this. Look off into the distance.
He's got some very retro sunglasses.
And then look at me. I've got Alex in the background looking all butch with a handheld fan.
Yes, that is Self-Shoot Alex, who is our videographer and editor.
Anyway, my mum did that. Dominic's 21st. There was a picture of him with his chop out when he was a kid, and like all his mates just took pictures and took the mick out. But yeah, that's a holiday nightmare.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Jess. I'm so sorry that the mammals got in the way.
Also, if anyone from ITV's listening, bring back what was it called?
Holiday Nightmare.
Holiday Nightmares. That was such a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Peter sketch. There's a Peter sketch about it.
Peter Kay sketch
about it. I jumped off the top of a ship to the bottom with both my legs on fire. That is not a holiday. That's really funny. Anyway.
This is from Linz. Hi both. When in Portugal, I was horrifically hungover after spending the night herding my friends around Porto. The problem was that we were booked onto a trip to climb the city's tallest bridge. The physical exercise nearly ended our friendship, but then we got to the top of the bridge where they offered us port. It would have been a lovely gesture, but our hangovers started kicking in when the smell of alcohol hit. There was a barrage of sick flowing off the bridge. From Linz.
Hear me out. My advice to this, and to anyone, when you go on holiday, don't book anything. Don't book anything. Don't go on excursions, because there's no worse. I've done it so many times. You're hungover, and then you're like, oh, we've got a cruise booked at 8 o'clock. Who wants to be on a fucking cruise at 8 in the morning? Do it on the day. So if you think, what should we do today? Do it there and then. Don't book anything in advance. Nothing.
Before Benidorm, and Mikey and I appreciate that this was done in completely the wrong order, we went to Paris for a long weekend. Mm-hmm. This is a conversation we genuinely had in Paris, okay? We are in Paris. We go to a cafe.
Where are you?
Paris.
Right, okay.
It's 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
In fact, we went to, is it on the South Bank?
Yeah, South Bank.
On the left bank, sorry. It's called Trattoria Rim Cafe. Highly recommend it.
And did you?
Well, we go there and we go, and may I have a croissant? And he goes, a what? We go, a croissant. So, oh, what's that? And we're like, a croissant? He hadn't heard of a croissant. We're sitting in Paris. And we're having this entire conversation about the national dish of France.
Pronouncing it like a knob. That's why.
Well, how would you pronounce
Croissant.
it? Well, we
croissant.
No, it's not. It's definitely not that.
That's what my mum used to say.
Yes, well,
George, do you want a croissant?
They had no idea what we wanted.
Because you were doing it because you were being a knob. You were being pretend croissant.
That's called French.
Croissant.
Oh, anyway, it was bizarre.
How do you say bagel?
Bagel.
Yeah, I bet you do.
This is from Faye. Hey, William Jordan EPB. I'm currently on holiday in Morocco and I went for a traditional hammam massage in our hotel.
To Morocco. Do you remember that myth in the 90s? Did anyone else go to Turkey in the 90s and they'd say, don't get a... You used to get a Turkish bath, didn't you?
Did you?
And I just remember thinking about it the other day and thinking, what bollocks was this? They'd say, always get your Turkish bath or your Turkish massage at the start of the holiday, because if you get it at the end of the holiday, it rubs your tan off.
Right.
That's what people used to say. Is my ADHD kicking in again?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know where I'm going with that. Carry on. Sorry, Faye.
Everything was going fine until she asked me to take off my bikini top. I thought it was okay because that's easier for the back massage. After about half an hour, she asked me to roll over. Again, all normal. Until she removed the towel and started massaging my boobs. Let's just say I left more tense than before I went in. Ooh. Faye.
Faye, don't worry. So I had a Turkish bath when I was an adult, and so you do get naked, and I got up naked.
You finised?
Right, and this little, chubby 12-year-old lad got up and put his arms out, and I thought he was going for a cuddle. So I went to cuddle him, but he was giving me a towel. And I still think to this day, that's going to cancel me, that. I nicked that story. I nicked that story off my mate. It didn't happen to me.
He says very quickly.
It was one of the best. It was one of the best wedding stories. It was brought up at a wedding.
What's the mate called? Yeah, I thought so. Hello, William EPB and the one in his happy place. That's you. A few years ago, 3 friends and I were travelling in Japan, konnichiwa. We were very organised and booked a hotel room in Tokyo ahead of arriving. The hotel was sold to us as a spa hotel where you could book by the hour. All right. This looked like a great idea for a group of penny-pinching Scots. When we arrived in Tokyo, we approached a gentleman to ask about the hotel as we couldn't find the street. The gentleman started to Google the hotel and then became very insistent that we should all come to stay with him instead of going to the hotel. We were overwhelmed by the Japanese hospitality, but politely declined and asked him to point us in the direction of the hotel. Oh, this is long. We arrived and went to check into the rooms, but when we got into our rooms, we were all a bit suspicious about the hotel as the bed was unmade and no sheets were provided, only a plastic sheet on the bed, and the lighting was very strange.
Oh.
There were a few hooks above the bed.
Oh, I mean...
Well, you've never been to Tokyo. Feeling that I needed to refresh after a long day of travel, I jumped into the bathroom to freshen up before going to get food. In the bathroom, there was a coin-operated wall-mounted hose with a metal head attachment. Upon further investigation and a quick Google, our suspicions had been realised. We had booked ourselves into a sex hotel with a coin-operated communal douche. Being very British about it...
I'm sorry, what? A coin-operated communal douche?
Communal douche.
So... Wow.
Being very British about it, we all went out for dinner, came back to the hotel and had an ice lolly and spent the night trying to sleep, looking at all the stains illuminated by the UV lights that stayed on all night.
Lovely.
Long story short, take advice from the local men in Japan and go back to theirs in staying in a sex hotel. Andrew. Okay, well, thanks, Andrew.
Great.
It's made me feel a lot better about the villa. This is from Stuart.
Hey, what's wrong with this villa?
No, well, it's not a sex hotel.
It's not far off.
Sadly. This is from Stuart. Hi, boys. A quick one from me. My nan got picked up by a fisherman out at sea after she fell asleep on a lilo and drifted...
That's brilliant.
And drifted away from the shore during a family holiday. She was topless.
Why can't we get sent more stuff like, see, we don't have to have dildos and food. That's one of the best we've been sent. Is that it?
No, I've got a couple more.
No, is that the end of the letter?
That's the end of the letter.
Georgia. That's brought me so much joy.
Georgia says she was in Lanzarote and it was especially windy one day, so windy in fact that it dislodged one of the parasols around the pool, which landed on her and then pinned her to the sunbed. The whole pool was watching and the manager came over to make a scene and somebody from maintenance had to set me free. The rest of the holiday, people were looking at me because I was the girl that got stuck in the sunbed. Georgia. Wow, okay, thanks, Georgia. This next one is from Jen. Hello, boys. So this is a story from a little while ago but it still leads me to wonder about the etiquette and cleanliness of Airbnbs. For my 21st birthday, some friends and I went out to New Orleans to celebrate the weekend.
I'd love to go there.
We met the owner, who was interesting.
We should go there.
And somewhat eccentric individual, telling us about his weekend plans for a drug-fueled art tour. He was very kind to leave us some alcohol in the kitchen to support the birthday celebrations, but the rest of the house looked as though it was moments from collapsing upon us. It was quite old, and there was also some renos, if you could call them that, with wood nailed into the bar, into the kitchen, and the walls, and one of the headboards. Well, after a night of bedroom birthday celebrations, the bed itself was looking fairly fucked. The next day, when I sat on the bed to put my shoes on, it collapsed. As I stood up to inspect the bed, a very large double-ended dildo rolled out from under it. So my question is it best etiquette to kick the dildo back under the bed and say nothing? Or when messaging the host about the collapsed bed, should it also be made known that their 18-inch pleasure stick, wow, had been rolling around on the floor and may need a good spit and polish? Jen, over to you.
I don't think you've got to...
Jordan's done it again where he just does his signature on the pad.
No, I didn't. I was
you
writing a note.
You've written Jordan North.
No, I haven't. I was right. I was going to tell a tale then.
What does that say?
Nothing. My advice is kick the double-ended dildo under the bed. Don't. Yeah. Don't. Can we just all agree? If you see dildos in anyone's room, under the bed, in the drawer, you don't mention it.
Okay.
Let's just all agree. I was going to tell a tale of... Have I ever talked about this? I used to be an Airbnb host in Preston.
No.
Did you not know this?
This is categorically new content.
That's what I was writing down.
Yes.
Right. Also,
3 years later.
Also, it was a bit illegal because I was subletting. But anyway, so when I left Rock FM and I was trying to make a bit more money, I impressed.
And this is before you joined Radio 1.
I was an Airbnb host. I was also a secret shopper as well, but I don't want to talk about it.
Oh my God, we've never talked about this.
I did it once in a pharmacy in Superdrug and never again.
Oh, please talk about that when we're back from Benidorm.
Okay, so that's how I was like trying to make a bit of money.
Make a note.
So I used to Airbnb my flat in Preston. And
so where were you living?
Pardon?
Where were you then? If you were Airbnb-ing it, where did you go?
I'd stay at my mum's.
Oh, right.
I'd go to my mum's just when I was like, so it used to like help me pay the rent and stuff. So I had loads of people staying, but I stopped doing it because people were really picky. But like people had to go up my DVD collection and stuff, which really pissed me off. And then one day, a couple stayed, and they had those electric heaters that absolutely frigging rinsed your electric bill. So they'd left them on, and they'd left them on the Friday. I didn't get back till the Sunday because I was away, and these electric heaters had been on all weekend, every one of them. I'm sure they did it on purpose. So I think my lecky bill that month for like 600 quid. So I'd like lost money. And then once they went mad because, and this was my fault, we used to have an homeless guy, and I used to let him sleep in corridor under the stairs. Have I never talked about this?
This is, my head is exploding.
He were heroin addicts, but he were lovely. He were really, he were lovely. He were, and so I let him sleep under the stairs. I used to let him in. It were cold, and I had to give him the money back because he'd shit himself on under the stairs, and they'd come in one night and seen him, and it was a bit of a scene. So they left. I said, if you don't leave a review, I'll give you your money back, and I stopped Airbnb. After that, he were a nice guy. He were harmless, but I think he'd had a hit and shit himself. And I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah.
You are.
I'm sorry. I can't remember his name. What was his name? Oh, it's gonna bug me. He weren't much old. He was about
You are
to say,
so fascinating.
Yeah. Anyway, so
particularly after 3 gin. Particularly after 3 gin and debonnaires.
Anyone else, get in touch for the next bonus. Anyone else, right, who's been an Airbnb host, get in touch and tell your tales. Because from the other, it's so stressful. Being an Airbnb, it's so stressful. Especially if it's your house. Yeah.
One more from Tash via Instagram direct message. My sister was about 23 in Cyprus.
If you're a former heroin addict and you live in Preston, and there was a lad that used to let you sleep in the flats on New Hall Lane, and I used to let you in next to Lidl. Get in touch because I want to know how you're getting on. He were a really nice guy. Him.
This isn't bloody Trisha. All right, we're not doing follow-ups.
I'm that drunk and emotional. I might cry just thinking about him.
Final one from Tash via Instagram direct message. My sister was about 23 in Cyprus at a water park with her friends. They were surrounded by families enjoying a fun day out. She went down a big water slide, but her bum went through the ring and didn't have time to correct her position before dropping to her fate. Flying down the slide, she started feeling a burning sensation. When she stood up in the pool at the bottom, she realised the friction had worn away her swimsuit bottoms, and behind her, all of the innocent children were crying at her red, raw, exposed arse.
Aww.
She was mortified. One of my favourite stories to tell. Have fun in Benny, boys. Kiss.
Did you ever play Red Arse as a kid? This is why I don't drink anymore.
Not as
when
a
we do
child.
the podcast.
Not as a child.
No. Did you ever play? Did you play Red Arse? I mean, I'm trying to think. There's so
Well,
many.
it gives us something to do later.
Daryl, did you play Red Arse as a kid? Bare Arse. Where you kick. He says this. He's literally just walked out in his Bolton top. Where you kick the ball against the bum. Yes. Yeah, you played that. Yeah. Did you never play that? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going. That's just what I wanted to.
No. Well, look. G&Divas, thank you for sharing all of those stories with us. That's wonderful. If you have a question... Do I feel better? None of that is worse than this. I'll be honest.
Are you really not enjoying it?
That pillow last night was like a brick.
Wait till we take you on the strip.
My back, I am overdosing on Tylenol. My back is American paracetamol, stuff that works. It is just extraordinary. But everyone's very friendly.
Remember, if you've got a question or story that isn't a dilemma or a problem, or just something you want to say to make us laugh, this is the place where we can read it out. Definitely drop into our DMs on social media or send us an email to help@sexandmyboss.com with anything you want to share with us. If you're an Airbnb host, get in touch because it is not easy. We also love hearing back from the people we offer advice to, so if that's you, get back in touch with producer Ben. For more sex and news and nonsense, sign up for Ben's letter via the website sexandmyboss.com. We will see you. What's happening? We'll see you on Tuesday. We're going to have a special episode.
So Tuesday is our live recording episode.
Oh, okay.
So that we're doing tonight, at the time of recording, I mean, it will have happened by the time this goes out. It's a bit weird. Stick with us. But that is going out on Tuesday. So if you want to know what we got up to in the Why Not bar, well, why not listen to our Tuesday episode?
Woo! Woo!